Hello everyone, I am Scuttlest, and my oh my, after a solid month or two of radio silence, we've got ourselves some new Warriors Orochi 4 news. Unfortunately, it's not all good news. But anyway, let's go down all our new information, as I offer you my own thoughts and opinions on these matters. First, the roster of this game is confirmed to be exactly 170 characters. Now, with that number in mind, let's do some math. As of Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, Dynasty Warriors has 83 characters. As of Samurai Warriors 4-2, Samurai Warriors has 56 characters. The Mystic and Demon characters of Warriors Orochi add up to 25 characters. Add those three numbers up, and we have 164 characters in total. Regrettably, this number does not account for any of the collaboration characters that were in Orochi 3, and that'll be where we run into some bad news. The developers, in order to return the franchise to its roots of Samurai and Dynasty Warriors, have stated that the collaboration characters will not be returning. And I really don't like that at all. Commercially speaking, Orochi 3 did quite well in the West, much better than a Warriors game normally does. They usually just sell okay-ish over here. And a big reason it did well in the West was because of all of the collaboration characters. Characters like Aeon did good work at bringing in more sales for the product. To disregard them just seems like a poor marketing idea to me. To make an example, in the modern day I consider myself a Soul Calibur fan. But the entire reason I got into Soul Calibur at all was because of Link's appearance as a guest character in the GameCube version of Soul Calibur 2. Though these days I'm a Nightmare fanboy as far as Soul Calibur is concerned. By dropping the collaboration characters, they dropped the ability to reach out to fan bases of other franchises. I'm sure there's a decent amount of Warriors fans that only got into Warriors games in the first place because they noticed that their beloved Ryu Hayabusa was in Orochi 3. Beyond that, I just really hate dropping characters, as do other Warriors fans. Just look at how people reacted to the cuts of Dynasty Warriors 6 and Samurai Warriors 3. Koei Tecmo was made to eat the fanbase's true rage Muso for doing that. I could have accepted losing Sophitia. She isn't owned by Koei Tecmo, and thus her return would entail a few more legal agreements. But the others just seem like needless cuts. For me, it's particularly the loss of Joan of Arc and Kasumi that really bites at me. I loved playing as those two. I get the desire to return to the franchise's roots. Really, I do. But this just seems to be a decision that's only going to hinder the product in the end. The 164 number also, unfortunately, does not factor in the Spirit of Sanada newcomers. Masayuki Sanada and Cha-Cha became some of my favorite Samurai Warriors characters in the single game they appeared in. Though Koei does need to stop beating around the bush in regards to why Cha-Cha is important, but that's a discussion for another time. Beyond Masayuki and Cha-Cha, this also means that Sasuke, Hidetada Tokugawa, and Katsuyori Takeda are also not going to be in the game. It's going to wound me to see them running around as generic officers again. Maybe the Spirit of Sanada characters and the collaboration characters could be added into a later expansion? Or maybe they could be... I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. DLC. In more positive news, we've also gotten word as to what these buildings in the reveal trailer were all about. The Greek Pantheon will indeed be joining this game. It's even been confirmed that Zeus is going to be in the game. We don't know precisely what he looks like, but Koei has given us an official image of his silhouette. The silhouette looks a little Sengoku Basara to me. It's also been stated that Zeus will be the main villain of the game, and I'll give Koei some props for that. So much media just looks at how Zeus was the ruler of Olympus and thus pegs him as the all-powerful good guy, when the actual story of mythological Zeus was, let's not get into that. That said, I do find myself wondering why a Greek god would be interested in the warring states of Japan and the Three Kingdoms of China. The previous mythological figures in this franchise at least had the excuse that they were part of the folklore of China and Japan. Look at the original two. Orochi is from Japanese myth, and Daji is a figure in Chinese history, as well as having a fair amount of folklore written about her. The Greek gods? Hard to say what they're here for. But maybe it's for the best. It's a tad tiresome to be facing Orochi over and over again. Mind you, it's already confirmed that Orochi is in, but of course, this is Warriors Orochi after all. Official word is that Orochi will have an important role in the plot. What role? We don't know yet. But maybe they'll find some way to make him the final boss again, even if he isn't the one driving the plot this time. On the subject of the Greek gods and their role in the plot, Achilles, who will not be returning because he's a collaboration character despite the fact he would be a perfect fit since the Olympian gods are going to be in this game, actually offhandedly references the Olympian gods when he faces Neza in Orochi 3. Perhaps it might be a decent plot point to have the Greek gods actually being wary of the strength of Neza and his superior Susano'o. Overall, interactions between the Olympians and the Mystics, two opposing divine groups, could prove quite interesting. The only member of the Greek Pantheon we have confirmed up to this point is Zeus. I presume all of the new characters will be Olympians. Maybe not all of them will be villains, but I do expect all of the newcomers to be the gods of Olympus. Mentioning any character past Zeus would just be speculation on my part, but there are some who seem like very probable picks. Ares, the god of war, for example, could be in as a personal antagonist to the god of war of Dynasty warriors Guan Yu, and the god of war of samurai warriors Kenshin Uesugi. Moving to a different subject, ever since we saw Zhao Yun and Yukimura going at it in the reveal trailer, we've been left to wonder. Was this demonstrating that we were getting a franchise reboot, as these two were friends with each other? Or was it simply to demonstrate how Warriors Orochi was a crossover between Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors? It seems the answer is sorta the former, but at the same time neither. Orochi 4 is basically a soft reboot. The story continues from the original Orochi 3's true ending, where the heroes are returned to their proper places and forget all memories of their time in Orochi's world. But in Orochi 4, Zeus recreates Orochi's world and draws the Dynasty and Samurai characters back into it. While the human characters have lost their memories, the mystic characters have not, so folks like Neza or Kaguya might reference the events of the old games, but the Dynasty and Samurai Warriors characters won't remember the previous fights with Orochi. And all of the previous connections in the franchise, like Cao Pi and Mitsunari's little friendship, have been poofed out of existence. I get the feeling this was a story decision made because the whole thing about all the factions fostering peace with each other, while a nice way to end a story, kind of damages the setting for a sequel. Still, this means that the ultimate story has been deemed non-canon. So Tamamo/QB was never released from the Rock Seal, the Heavenly Emperor's death was never averted, nobody knows where Orochi came from, and the Divine Mirror is still cracked and in Tamamo's possession. Speaking of story, the plot of Orochi 4 is being supervised by none other than Yoshitaka Murayama, who created the... I'm not sure how it's correctly pronounced, Suikoden, whatever. I've never actually played one of these games, but perhaps him being on board will be more meaningful for you than it is for me. Some other Warriors fans I know are just raving about him being involved, so I guess it's a good thing. But bear in mind, he isn't writing the story, he's supervising it. Also, I'd like to draw your attention to this image of the pre-existing members of the cast. Beyond seeing all the characters as of Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires and Samurai Warriors 4-2, I regret to note that the Mystics are still in their old designs. I mean, come on, the cast of Dynasty and Samurai Warriors, with some exceptions, always change into a new outfit every new numbered entry. Why not do that with the Mystics as well? This actually makes me worry that they won't be updating the movesets of the Mystics. The Mystics that were introduced in Orochi 3 were up to snuff, but the older Orochi series original characters were using their old PS2 era movesets that had aged horribly. Susano'o had a good moveset, but using Nuwa might as well have been a self-imposed challenge. A part of me finds it kind of funny that in Orochi 3, Orochi himself, the main villain who has really hyped up strength, actually has a somewhat sloppy moveset. But really, update these things. And on that note, update Dodomeki's moveset in particular. I know he probably isn't high priority since he's barely above the rank of generic officer, but I'd like him to stop being a Kotaro clone. Next subject is Deification. This is the name for these new Strike Force-esque outfits. Official word is that it's a new form where, as the name Deification would imply, the characters are imbued with godly strength. I'm not sure if that means that they get new attacks or if it's just a stat buff. Also, only certain specific story-relevant characters are said to get these new forms. As you can see, it's already confirmed that Yukimura and Zhao Yun get these forms. Perhaps, and everyone past Yukimura and Zhao Yun is just speculation on my part, the major faction leaders like Cao Cao or Nobunaga will also get them. And they likely wouldn't miss an opportunity to give Lu Bu an alternate form. I wouldn't be surprised if they also gave Deification to characters that rock the popularity polls, characters like Mitsunari or Guan Yinping. Though at the same time, I've a hunch that actually every character in the game gets the benefits of Deification, but only a few specific characters get the new outfits. Somewhat similar to Deification are the new Sacred Treasures. These are new items that are equipped, separate from weapons, that allow you to perform the new divine techniques. I don't really have much to say on the matter, but to me this new mechanic sounds like a successor to the old R1 special attacks from Orochi 3. Also, I note that Zhao Yun is using what looks an awful lot like a magic wand to me, because the Dynasty Warriors 9 opening was not enough and we had to keep the magical girl Zhao Yun jokes coming. To speak of consoles, on top of the PS4, Orochi 4 will also be on the Xbox One, the Switch, and on Steam. Personally, I don't own an Xbox One, and I'm not a PC gamer, so it's just a decision between the PS4 and Switch for me. Unfortunately, since they seem to want to avoid collaboration and guest characters in favor of sticking to the roots of Warriors Orochi, I wouldn't expect anyone from Hyrule Warriors or Fire Emblem Warriors as a Switch exclusive character. It would be neat if Link or Marth got in, and them getting in would inexorably lead me to get the Switch version over the PS4 version, but I'm not holding my breath there. Would I get the game on the Switch without such guests? I'm not sure. The idea of Orochi 4 on the go means nothing to me. I'm a little paranoid on the subject of my Switch getting damaged or stolen, so I never take it out of its dock. If the game performance is the exact same between the Switch and the PS4 version, I might as well just flip a coin to decide which system I'll get the game for. Okay, I thought I was going to end the video there, but it turns out while studying the picture of the old cast, I made a discovery. Diamondback is in this picture. Diamondback, a generic demon officer who, unlike Dodomeki and Gyuki, has been unplayable up till now. Diamondback, whether it's from being the guy Orochi dramatically executed back in Orochi 2, to being Shutendoji's superior at the start of Orochi 3's plot, to being the star of one of Orochi 3's DLC battles. He has become the most noteworthy of the demon generics who use this design. Perhaps his presence in this screenshot means he's become playable now? If he has become playable, then I need to rethink my numbers a bit. This means that there are 165 characters returning, though one of them, Diamondback, will be made playable for the first time ever. Add that to the already confirmed zoos, there are only 4 unknowns in the roster. This is all assuming that Diamondback really is coming. And I hope he is. He's a character I've kind of low-key wanted to see become playable for a while now. And with that, we're wrapping up this video. Some of the news has damaged my hype for the game a little. I was wanting Masayuki so much. But I am still ultimately looking forward to Warriors Orochi 4. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.